So I'm just going to explain 3 tips that I suggest to couples who are maybe thinking about having sex again after they've had a new baby, and maybe some concerns and anxieties they have about that. So the first tip I would say is to not get hung up on the idea that you should be having sex just like you were before within 3 months of having a baby, and that there's a certain time frame which you should be getting back to whatever normal is for you, because actually there isn't, and couples are really different, and some couples will be really tired after having a baby. That's so normal, and it can take quite a long time for some couples to get back to the sort of sex life they were having before. But it doesn't mean that you can't be having some sort of sexual relationship with your partner. And if you think about sex and intimacy really broadly, you might not be having full sexual intercourse early on, but there's other ways that you can be sexual with each other. So don't put yourself under too much pressure. That's the first thing. The second thing is actually about being able to talk as a couple about it, because it might be that you kind of get into that mind-reading thing of assuming that your partner wants to be doing something sexual when maybe they're not quite ready for that either. So try to have a conversation about sex, which is always something that sounds a bit weird. We sleep with people, but we don't always talk about sex. But actually, in Relate, we try to encourage people to be able to be honest about sex and be able to talk about it. And maybe being in bed is not the time to do that. It might be that you actually kind of talk about it another time. But actually talk about what you might like to be able to start doing again after the baby, and what sexual things you think you might be able to do, and share any fears and anxieties you have about that. So that's my second thing, is to talk about it. The third thing is, and this is particularly for women who've given birth, they may be worried about physically doing themselves some harm, or whether their body is actually ready to be able to have sex again. And the more you have a fear and anxiety, the more that can stop you your body actually being ready to have sex, but also mentally you're not going to feel in the mood, you're not going to be feeling sexy. So if you're having those thoughts, is to get yourself checked out, speak to your health visitor, speak to your GP, say, am I ready to start having sex again? Is this going to be a problem for me? And get the all clear, and then hopefully that can put your mind at rest as well.